Welcome in, everybody. It's the coach, and you're tuned in to Madden 19 on EA Sports. On tap, we've got what should be a fairly intriguing matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Minnesota Vikings. I'll have scores around the league for you.
And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Today, it's Week 12 of the NFL season, and we've got a good one in store between the San Francisco 49ers and the Minnesota Vikings. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. So here's the first drive now for the 49ers. As we get a peek at their dynamic signal caller hailing from Mississippi State, it's Dak Prescott.
That was a solid performance last week, wasn't it? 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, ran the team well, won the ball game. Bottom line, may not have been earth-shattering, but it didn't need to be.
And they'll go with the ground attack here. And he is going to lose yardage here. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
Yes, indeed. That play there, that reminds me of some of the guys that I've played with to have that suddenness, able to get into the backfield almost about the time the ball snapped and make a play. How about that tackle for a loss?
Absolutely. He did a lot of that last week when he was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. One of the guys on the team would say, yeah, we called him the disruptor. And that's carrying forward again.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. 13 yards as the quick slant keeps the drive moving.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
And the Buffet boys, the O-line, hopefully they're ready today.
Listen, you got to feed them first. But if you do, you usually get a great product out on the field. And when they play well, the quarterback can't wait to feed them afterwards.
And now whistles and a flag. And I think we got a jump here.
Neutral zone infraction, defense.
So a jump there defensively.
And it's a killer. Watch the football. Don't move across the line of scrimmage until the ball moves.
Now Dak on the option left. And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. He went backwards 7 yards, setting up a tough third down.
For me, that was an example of why offensive linemen might want rearview mirrors at times, because you have your assignments to block, but if you can see what's going on in the backfield and maybe the guy carrying the ball is headed in another direction, it might change what you do up front. But if they can't see that and he's not in sync with what they're doing up front, well, this is when you end up with plays like this. A bad one for the offense, a really good one for the defense. He wasn't the primary target, but I think it was almost like a check-down situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, hoping he can break some tackles, a big tight end, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, get into that big frame and hope he can scatter some bodies, unable to get it done.
Now the first carry for Dalvin Cook. "25 yards to pick up there, and also a first down."
I know that play went to the left side, and that's what it was designed to do, an outside handoff there. But how about the whole offensive line being involved? Seal the left side where the play was going, what they call play side, but how about on the back side? Just taking care of business to make sure no one can get there and disrupt it.
Is the biggest key the left tackle?
Without a doubt. Control that edge. Get out there. You want the left tackle, if you bring your tight end over there, either way, control the edge of the line of scrimmage, you got a chance to rumble.
31 yards there and a first down.
Outside handoff to the right side. If you're a running back, you love getting the ball early so you have vision to see what's happening in front of you.
Right tackle likes that call. Big play for him, but don't forget about the guys you always tell me on the backside sealing off.
When they talk about cutoff blocks, making sure no one can leak from the backside that can run a play down.
Yeah, nobody leaked. Big play. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL, so when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace. I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs, but the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
And on 3rd down, a nickel formation here defensively. This time, Jackson will throw it. And he's going to be taken down. Back around the 35-yard line.
We've watched this a long time, and I still don't believe we get it. 3rd and long, why are you calling play action?
Yeah, because they're not going to bite defensively, right?
No, not at all. I did have a coach explain to me years ago that for some teams, that's how they have to deal with pass protection and their line blocking. But to me, it seems silly.
Yeah, well, they're silly, and it leads to a play-action sack. And they've got it here with a 1st down. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. Over the middle to Evans. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick 1st down. If you're going to blitz, likely going to leave you in man coverage with this guy, and that is less than ideal.
It is, because just about any offense that has an elite receiver, if you blitz and have him in man coverage, you're going to him, even if he has an elite defender on him, because he usually knows where the ball is before the defender does.
Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
And he's going to get this one down near the 45-yard line. Back-to-back 1-yard runs here, so that leaves him with a 3rd down and 8.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level, because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat. And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. The 21 yards there as they convert on 3rd.
You know I'm going to lean towards the defender, right? You know I'm going to do that.
I know.
That's a tough situation for him as I see it. But the truth of the matter is, that ball was not streaking towards him. Had a little arc on it. He's got to find a way to get his head around and make the play on the football.
That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
Anytime you call an inside running play, you just know there should be a lot of congestion there. You're counting on your offensive line to take control of the line of scrimmage. That didn't happen in this case, and that play got bottled up.
And this is Simpson with a catch. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains. This drive, it's been a good mix. 3 passing plays, 3 runs, hitting on all 3 of those passes, and the last one putting him in the red zone.
So wouldn't you think play action right here? Because you've got the ability and had the ability to run it and throw it. Go play action and take your shot at the end zone.
A good pickup there. 8 yards on the 1st down completion.
Seeing that play and understand just how tough it is to cover tight ends, especially the ones running around the NFL nowadays, makes me glad I didn't make it in that league. I would have a really difficult time.
But now you get to sit up here with me.
Yeah, and that's fun, isn't it? And what a really nice game right there on 1st down for them. Brings up a nice 2nd down for them.
They're trying to keep the drive going. This will be play number 8. It's 3rd and 2. Here's Prescott. And he hauls it in the end zone. Touchdown, San Francisco. Laquan Treadwell, his first touchdown on the year. And the Niners are able to cash in for 6. On those slants, everything happens so quickly. What makes it work?
The timing between the passer and the receiver. In this case, a slant route ordinarily is probably about 3 steps before you go on the slant. In this amount of time, I think it was a 2-step deal. Boom, put his foot in the ground and got inside for the pass.
Got inside for the pass, got inside for the catch and the score. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
And a nice spin into some open field. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. That play going for 16 yards to start the drive, first down. His first carry of their second drive, pretty solid. And, of course, remember back to their first drive, really strong throughout that one.
Not only is he getting good blocking up front, but how about his vision to find the holes? And he's seeing things before they even open and hurtling through them.
They keep it with Barkley on first down. And he's got it up over the 40 to the 41. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
He was hoping to get to the edge, but they did a really nice job of forcing him back inside. That's excellent fundamental defensive football. Don't let them outside where they can really shred your defense.
And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. That good for 22 and a first down.
Would you say this offense is locked in right now?
They're having no trouble on this drive. What is it, 3 plays, 3 first downs?
Yeah, you talk about on the march. They keep this up, they get to that end zone real fast.
A first down carry for Barkley. And he'll take it down to the 30-yard line. And before this second down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout, as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in half number 1. On second down, here's Barkley. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also 3rd down. The pitch goes to Barkley. A spin. He's got a first down and much more inside the 20. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. That right there, a good sign for a team that's had trouble converting 3rd down so far this year. They're in the bottom 5 in the NFL, but they come through there.
Yeah, and I bet if we put our guy Marvin on the case and say, Marvin, tell us where they rank on 3rd and what, right? I bet they're in the top 5 in the league on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 or more, because that's how you end up not converting. Just too much yardage to pick up on 3rd down.
He's going to get it running right. Now, before this second down play, we'll get whistles and a timeout, as the stoppage will come with 23 seconds to go till halftime. The line of scrimmage, the 7 now on 2nd and goal. And now Jackson will look to throw it. Buying time to his left. And oh, it'll be intercepted. Snags it for the pick.
I think that interception happened for 2 reasons. Quarterback gets outside the pocket and panics a little bit, and receiver doesn't make sure he's absolutely in an open spot. So there's a guy lurking, took the ball from him.
Yeah, so don't wave your arms, right, as a receiver if you're not wide open.
Got to know that you're open. Otherwise, just don't do it.
And San Francisco gets set to go here. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders.
That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, A 2-game losing streak could have them out of the playoffs, so they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them. Yeah, give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6. They'll come up 2nd and 6 now from the 24. So we've reached halftime with just the lone. Due to time constraints, we move you forward in today's broadcast to the beginning of the 3rd quarter. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. That'll be taken in the end zone. The offense takes the field, and we turn our attention to Saquon Barkley. And he's closing in on that number that all running backs circled beginning of the year, the number 1,000. Could do it on this drive.
And you have to think to yourself that this moment, getting to this spot, it started in the offseason, right? Not just the workouts, right? Not just getting yourself physically prepared to play, but mentally, as well as your team, as well as your unit, head coach, offensive coordinator. We run the football. We give you opportunities. He's taking advantage of it.
And when you get this close to the mark, you just hope things don't tighten up, right? You probably want to get there and get it in your rearview mirror.
You really do, don't you? Because now it becomes predominant, and you wonder about play calling as well. Do you want to call plays to get that out of the way, or are you still calling plays to win the game first? That becomes the burden of the play caller.
Stop shy of the 45. Showed off a nice little move on the play, though. A solid run on 1st down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
Boy, where would these guys be without his performance on the ground? That puts him over 100 yards now for the afternoon, and I tell you, he seems to be getting stronger as the day goes along.
A toss out to Barkley. Oh, a heck of a move.
Man.
And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, yeah, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains.
Any team that runs the toss and runs it successfully, that means they win the battle on the edges. That means you seal the edge in order to let your back get to the corner. They got it done there for a very nice game.
And he's going to be brought down inside the 45 at the 43. Now a toss right to Barkley. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. 5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive.
So many teams want to throw the ball in this situation nowadays, but I love watching a team that has enough confidence to go ahead and run the football. In that situation, that's almost a tendency breaker.
Right back to him on 1st down. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
The best offenses and the ones that win are ones that make adjustments. And right now, I think this team needs to open things up.
On 2nd down, Cook. Zone touchdown, Minnesota. A great effort there. His 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Vikings are an extra point away from tying this thing up. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one, because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
So all square here in this 3rd quarter as the kick's away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here's a look at the 49ers offense as they make their way out for their first possession of the 2nd half. Now a play fake here on 1st down. Airing this one out for Evans. And it drops down incomplete. Thought he might have had it. Instead, 2nd down.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
Throwing, Prescott, and he comes back with one complete. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. They go play action here on 1st down. Eluding the pressure right. And he'll go out of bounds. It appears right at the 45. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be 2nd down.
They brought the blitz that time, and I thought they were going to get to him, but instead, he flipped it on its ear and ended up picking up positive yardage.
I thought he was dead to rights, but you are exactly correct, sir. Able to turn that into a positive gain. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49. It'll go as a gain of 6 that time, and it moves the chains as well. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
From Viking territory now, they'll come up 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Looking to throw. Prescott. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Evans. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did. Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the 3rd quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
And all the way inside the 15 before they drop it. 23 yards on the play.
And this is why trying to cover the angle route is so difficult. Anyone playing the linebacker position, when they see a running back out of the backfield widen because he heads towards the flat first.
Some good games going on in the early window. This might be the best of the bunch. On 1st and 10, Prescott. That is caught at the 7-yard line. And he's going to take it in. Touchdown, San Francisco. In for the score. And the Niners are able to cash in for 6. And there they got him the ball. Just get it to him, let him do the rest.
You know, he probably said that to his quarterback as he broke the huddle. I like the play call. Just get it to me. I'll take care of the rest of it.
Helping out his RAC, right? R-A-C?
Run after catch. And he loves that, and he's going to carry that in at contract time.
Extra point from McManus is good. And that makes the score 14-7. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. Defensively, you said coming in earlier in the broadcast, the magic number was 20 points for you. That's what you thought they would have to hold this offense to, or less than that. And, wow, they've done that in a big way, haven't they?
Not only have they done it, they put themselves in a great position to win this one because holding them down was paramount. If they could get it done, well, guess what? We see the end result. Right now, they have their eye on victory.
And leading here in the 4th. Now a handoff looking right. Wiggles free. And he will lose yardage on the play. Back at his own 19-yard line. And that's a loss of 7 on the 1st down play.
Gone! All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
Now Jackson on 2nd down. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And got his man complete. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the San Fran 20. It's a big one there for the Vikings. 63 yards. And at this stage, down in the second half, looks like they just wanted to find a way to get it in the hands of their playmaker, and they did.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think the coordinator's looking at his play sheet and trying to figure out which play will work well. He's trying to figure out how to get the ball to the playmaker that you just described. Looking down at that sheet, you find people plays, not necessarily X's and O's, and that's exactly what they did there.
And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Lamar Jackson, an 18-yard touchdown run. And the Vikings are an extra point away from tying this thing up. So they're down in the red zone. They opt to utilize his legs instead of the arm. It works out pretty well.
I like what they were thinking there, because in most situations now, defense is accounting for all the other runners on the field and, of course, for pass plays. But the quarterback position, oftentimes it is unaccounted for. Offense coordinator felt it, dialed it right up.
Inside the red zone, is this something teams should maybe, depending on the quarterback, do more often?
Definitely. If you've got a quarterback who can actually move it with his legs, that's an extra option and an extra weapon for you. I think they should utilize it more often.
And San Francisco gets set to go here. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better.
Well, this is taken in. It's complete. A big play there for the Niners. 43 yards.
That's a big-time pitch and catch right there. And, partner, I remember the days when quarterbacks would try this. They were holding their breath. But nowadays, they're counting on their receiver to be just a little bit better than the defensive back when it's one-on-one and the ball's in the air like that.
To throw is Prescott. Finding his safety valve here. That's complete. And he'll go down at the 28. A gain of 4 on the play, and it'll bring up a second down. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back has skills.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Danielle Hunter in there yet again. What else is new as he continues to rewrite the record book in single-season sacks. And with that sack, partner, he just became the all-time NFL sack king.
So now the Mount Rushmore of sack artists has been added to. This man now goes to the head of the class. Carve out a new spot for him.
So on now is Brandon McManus. He has hit from as far away as 57, but that was in Denver. This to break our fourth quarter tie. And McManus able to put it through. And they take a 17-14 lead. So the drive here ends with a field goal. It does give them the lead, but this one's still certainly a long ways from over.
It definitely puts a lot of pressure on your defense to hold the lead, right? They're happy to have it and happy to be out there trying to do so. But I know as a former player, in the back of their mind, they're thinking, why don't you score the touchdown and seal this thing?
And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3. Time for a break. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Fighting through. A second nice move, a spin. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. And a solid job using his legs. 16 yards and a first down on the keeper.
But they picked up a little bit of yardage there, and now, in this situation, should be in no hurry to run a play really fast. Let the clock wind down.
Oh, nice move. 25 yards to pick up there, and also a first down. Probably had 60,000 thinking pass right there, including us in the booth.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was a big call, big guts on that one. And guess what? That run, it'll pay dividends.
Watch it now, Barney.
First down, here's the run with Cook. Shifts by him. And he's going to be out down inside the 20 at the 15. Back-to-back nice plays, 12 yards that time and a first down. Missed tackles may doom this team.
I just had a bad flashback. That's why I'm sitting up here with you right now. You've got to tackle him inbounds. You've got to wrap him up.
Watch it now, Barney.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of 6, and it'll set him back for second down.
Oftentimes when a guy has a game like this, he's going to take his offensive line out to dinner afterwards. But after a play like that, he may tell them, instead of getting the steaks, guys, we might have to go for the hot dogs.
And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. Call that a loss of 5 yards on the play. And they're going to be staring at a 3rd and long here. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense, as it'll come with 36 seconds to go in half number 2. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after first and second down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long.
Here we go now. Blue 90. Blue 90. Over.
He'll look to throw. And this is caught. Touchdown. And they've taken the lead here in the final minute. Carlson on for the PAT. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And that will make this a 4-point game. Carlson now to kick this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And with time a factor here late, he'll just take a knee, and they'll start things out at the 25. Dak Prescott of the offense heading back onto the field. This is something we've seen many times over the course of his career. Can he pull off another fourth-quarter comeback?
And it's very strange, isn't it? Because when it's a player of this magnitude, even though the guys on defense have the lead and are sitting in the best spot, they're maybe the most nervous people in the stadium. Because
and he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. The 49ers now going to use the first of their timeouts, as the clock will stop with just under 30 seconds left to go. He's back to throw. Out to his left. And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. And now maybe they want some extra time to talk about this 3rd and long play, as we'll get a timeout, as they'll stop the clock with 24 seconds to go in the game. Back to throw. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
So another big shot dodged there defensively. Now they're just one more incompletion away from salting away this victory. And I know this feeling. They're almost giddy, but they have to stay focused and locked in. They can make one big mistake and throw it all away.
Desperation time. Prescott on 4th. And that is incomplete. Down to 15 seconds now. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And that'll be just about all she wrote for this one. Well, you feel the excitement build on those 4th down plays. Defense has to stay out there, but for the offense, when that thing doesn't work out, such disappointment.
It can absolutely be a deflator, but how about the defensive guys? If they stop you on 4th down, they are absolutely elevated going to their bench.
They're elevated now. Big stop on 4th down. Now a throw to the end zone on 1st down, but it winds up incomplete. And unable to connect. It's incomplete. And the clock stopped at 8 seconds. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. To throw is Jackson on the move to his left. And it's incomplete. Still throwing to the very end, but now this game is over. And, Charles, I think when the schedule comes out, all teams, no matter where they're predicted to finish, talk about protecting your home turf. They were able to do that here in this one.
Similar to a tennis match, right? Not letting them break your serve. That way you hold on to it. They got it done, and they feel very good about that victory.